Chuck Schumer's tricks didn't work this time. Take a look.
If Republicans block this resolution, we'll know they don't want to fund TSA.
We need a full Department of Homeland Security. Not what we're going to see in the next hour is one can, well, no, let's fund this little part. No, let's fund this little part. No, let's fund this little part.
During a Senate debate focused on DHS funding, Schumer was pushing a bill that fund just one of the department's 22 agencies. But John Barrasso was quick to call it out, exposing the real reason behind this move. And today, we're covering it all. So let's jump right into it.
In a few moments, my friend and colleague, the senator from Nevada, will offer a unanimous consent request that is very simple. It funds TSA. No conditions, no ifs, ands, or buts. It just says we are funding TSA. If Republicans want to see our TSA workers get paid, they should not object. It's very simple. If Republicans block this resolution, we'll know they don't want to fund TSA because this is the simplest, quickest, easiest way to do it. Our colleagues on the other side said, oh, no, we don't want to fund it unless we have a compromise or we have a deal on other parts of ICE and CPB. That is holding the TSA agents and the American people hostage. We're not holding any hostages. We're just saying we need to fund TSA. We need to fund it now. No ands, ifs, or buts. No questions asked. No preconditions.
This is pure hypocrisy from Schumer, because his own party's House Whip said in an interview with NPR that if they don't get ICE reforms, quote, they're not willing to extend DHS budget another day. Ilhan Omar also admitted to something similar during a recent town hall, saying, quote, as many of you know, Democrats said we are not going to pass the appropriations bill for the DHS unless they agree to 10 reforms. So what changed? Public opinion, because Americans were dealing with long airport lines, missed flights, and the backlash was becoming hard to ignore. That's why Schumer tried to push a bill that only funds the TSA. Obviously, Barrasso wouldn't let his tricks slide and called it out on the spot.
The majority whip is recognized.
Mr. President, I just hear the minority leader come to the floor of the United States and say what the Democrats want to do is peel apart the Department of Homeland Security, a department that was set up in this nation after the attacks of 9/11, the attacks that struck the home city of the minority leader, took down the Twin Towers. This Department of Homeland Security was set up specifically to protect our nation. Multiple components put together to protect America, the American people. And what are the Democrats doing today? They're coming to the floor to peel it apart and say, oh, no, we're not interested in protecting the border. Oh, no, we're not interested in making sure illegal immigrant criminals are taken out of the country. No, that's not what they're doing. They're coming and saying, we're going to just take this part or that part. This is a comprehensive plan, the Department of Homeland Security, to protect our nation. That's what we're seeing here today. That's why they're here.
Now, just to put it into perspective, how insane Schumer's attempt was. Democrats went from allowing a full government shutdown to narrowing it down to DHS, and now to funding only the TSA. Whatever happened to finding compromises? The thing is, Republicans had already shown willingness to meet halfway on certain ICE reforms, on top of the president talking about the need for a softer touch when it comes to immigration enforcement. But since the midterms are right around the corner, the shutdown continued, even if it meant the American people are the ones left dealing with the consequences. Now, keep in mind, it's not just airport delays either, as DHS is made up of 22 agencies, and Barrasso was sure to point that out. But before we play his take, we have a quick message from today's sponsor. In our last spotlight, we covered Saga Metals, trading as SAGMF in the US and Saga in Canada, and their acquisition of another titanium asset in the same district as the world's largest titanium mine. Today, that story is accelerating. Saga just strengthened its position with the Wolverine project in Labrador. Now this one comes at a time when the global push for energy and defense is running into a serious problem. Heavy rare earth supply is tightly controlled, and much of it comes from unstable or adversarial regions. That's why this goes beyond mining. It's about national security. And the Trump administration has declared it imperative to secure domestic supply chains for defense. And we're talking jet engines, satellites, and precision systems, all of which require a steady and secure supply of heavy, rare earths, elements that were found at the Wolverine project. Saga Metals is now working towards a maiden resource of 100 million tons, with a long-term target that could reach 1 billion tons. That kind of scale puts Wolverine into a different category. Now, here's what makes this stand out. The project sits near Voisers Bay, one of the most important discoveries in the region, valued at over $4.3 billion. That deal is a perfect example of how a single discovery can transform a company. Saga is in the same region, with government mandates behind the sector, strong drill results, a team executing year-round, and a current valuation that doesn't yet reflect the scale of what they're building. So if you want to learn more about this critical mineral story, check out the link in the description. Special thanks to Saga Metals for making today's video possible.
Our cybersecurity is under attack. Our people are under attack. Our nation is under attack. And we need to defend ourselves, and we need a full Department of Homeland Security. Not what we're going to see in the next hour is one can, well, no, let's fund this little part. No, let's fund this little part. No, let's fund this little part. As they don't want to fund the Department of Homeland Security. They say, well, hey, the Department of Homeland Security is there to guard our coast. We have the Coast Guard in there. We have FEMA for emergency management of federal problems. We have our cybersecurity, where today 1/3 of those people are working, not getting paid, and 2/3 today, right this very moment, are furloughed. And that seems to be fine with the Democrats. They don't seem to care because they are so committed to the illegal immigrants who are criminals and in this country, let in by Joe Biden and them, over 10 million flooded into the country during the last 4 years. And they are so beholden and detached to the far left component of this nation that they don't care about everybody else.
Okay, those are fair points, especially when you look at the bigger picture. Leaving key DHS agencies without funding creates real risks when it comes to national security. And it's all being done just because the Democrats have a problem with ICE and CBP. Sure, there's room to debate how immigration enforcement should be handled. And the fact Republicans were open to compromise shows they agree with that too. But the way this partial shutdown played out tells a different story. Instead of working towards a solution, it turned into a tool to score cheap political points. And it goes to show where the system stands.
We've had terrorist attacks right here on the homeland. 2 in the last 2 weeks. And so we're going to stand here and we're going to listen to this little unanimous consent agreement and that one at the time when our homeland is under attack. All warning lights are flashing red, and they want to peel apart, piece by piece, the Department of Homeland Security, the comprehensive department of our government, to protect the American people because they want to stand with illegal immigrant criminals. Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, even though the DHS was allowed to shut down during one of the most critical times in recent years, when Iran is reportedly activating sleeper cells across the world, this shutdown is going to be used heavily by the Democrats in the midterms to tell the American people they did the right thing. Again, the argument for reforming ICE has been around for years, and there's room for discussion on that front. But this is not the way to achieve it, because it holds people hostage to our lawmakers failing to do the basics of their job. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, keep thinking.